Rita is one of Israel's best-selling pop stars of the past 30 years. The Iranian-born Israeli has recorded 12 albums, sold hundreds of thousands of records in Israel and beyond, and represented the Jewish state on the world stage. In a recent visit to her home in Tel Aviv, I asked the 55-year-old how it feels to have accomplished so much as an Israeli artist.
Israel is a very small country, yeah? We are very, very little and very small. We make a lot of noise, but we are very small. I look at that and I don't see, those records. I see the hearts of people. It is a soundtrack of their lives in so many ways.
I wanted to explore the soundtrack of her life in our conversation, so that meant starting at the beginning in Iran. What memories do you have of your childhood there?
Oh, I have a lot of memories from Iran. We lived in Tehran, Iran. My father was born in Isfahan, but my mother, she lived in Iran, so they got married there. I remember colors, taste, songs,
what was
smell.
The tastiest thing?
The tastiest thing, I think, is the ice cream, golo bol bol. The ice cream, the taste of the food. I am very lucky that my mother, she's a great cook, so she brought everything she knows, and we still eat amazing Persian food here. And even in Israel, they all know that the Persian kitchen is the richest kitchen and the richest food in the world. Everyone envies me here. Oh, we have to taste your mother rice, your mother tadig.
Tell me more about your mother. She also sang, although that wasn't her profession, right?
Mother, she's very beautiful. She has an amazing voice. One of my earliest memories is of my mother sitting on the carpet, rocking me back and forth while singing to me. منو رها نمی کنه منو رها نمی کنه. But being back then a female singer was inappropriate, so we enjoyed her singing at home, and her singing filled our home. Like she used to do beshkan and sing, while she were cooking or cleaning the house. Even one of my earliest memories is of my mother, like the Persian way. She was sitting on the carpet, stretching her legs forward, placing a pillow on her legs and me in front of her, and while she rocking me, she used to sing lullabies. So the Persian singing and her voice are, I think, the reason for my love of music.
I understand your father also, while not a singer, he was a fan of poetry. So how did that influence you?
He had a lot of knowledge in Persian culture. And he used to recite Persian poets in poems at home. We didn't understand anything because the street way of talking and the poet talking are very, very different. We didn't understand anything, and he used to translate all the Persian poems, and it was amazing. It still, goes in my head.
As Rita's parents were exposing her to poetry and song, they also taught her how to behave as a member of a religious minority in Tehran.
we lived in a very Muslim neighborhood, and my parents told us that we cannot tell that we are Jewish, so it was a secret. I didn't know what Jewish means. I was too small to know that.
When Rita was 8 years old, her parents decided it was time to stop hiding their identity.
There was something that happened there. My sister, she was 14 years old, and we were students in a Muslim school, and the teacher asked her, without knowing, in the morning to do the prayer. And she said, well, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. And she said, what? And all the children, all the students, they were, wow, how can she know the prayer, or the Muslim prayer? And she came back very, she was crying, and it was really a very, very tough day for her, for my mother. I don't know, I was small then. And then my father came back very late at night. He worked in 3 different jobs. He worked really hard. And when he heard the story, and he said, well, I think this is the time that we will leave to Israel to feel more comfortable as Jewish people, not all the time to live in secret.
So after you moved to Israel as a child and were growing up into your teenage years in Israel, what was that transition like? How much of a culture shock was that for you?
It was a culture shock because, in Iran, I have to tell you that the difference between the Israeli mentality and the Iranian mentality and culture is quite it has a differences.
What are the main differences?
Okay, well, I'm Iranian and Israeli. I can call myself both. And I learned that the Iranian mentality is very polite, dramatic, a little bit has a secret in it. It's like covered layers by layers, revealing some, but keeping most hidden. It's I never know if it's polite or true. Well, let's say I've learned that if I'm sitting and I'm drinking tea and someone sits and he said, whose tea is this? I will never say it's mine. I will say it's yours, right?
Even if it might not be true.
Yeah, because I'm polite. I know from my mother that if they say that something is nice, you take it out and you say pishkesh, right? You offer. And the Israeli mentality is very cheeky, is very immediate, and a little bit it's open. You say, well, it's mine. Well, I don't like this. I like this. I don't like this. I want to. It's very, very open. So it has differences. For me, it was a shock.
I heard in your TED Talk, you talked about how the other kids in the Israeli school related to you as being an immigrant.
At the beginning, during my first days in the Israeli school, I used to stand aside during the breaks and watch other children playing. And from time to time, one of the kids would approach me and call me Parsi, Parsi, Persian, Persian. And I was sure that this is the way how the Israeli kids greeting me, and at the same time they are showing that they know where I come from. And I answered them with my new word, Shalom.
Yeah, they were mocking me. To be an Iranian back then was not popular, not at all. I believe for many years it wasn't a very popular thing.
Well, maybe you can explain to our audience why was it not popular? I mean, how did the Iranian immigrants to Israel in the 60s, in the 70s, how were they treated by other Israelis, especially by Ashkenazi Israelis who are from the European backgrounds?
You know, sometimes if you have different accent, and the Iranian emphasis in accent is completely different than the Israeli emphasis. Like, say, if you won't say Dizengoff, you say Dizengoff, the Persian people. So it's a little bit funny way of talking, of accent. And I don't know, I believe, you know, people who find other groups a little bit different than you, so they feel much better to mock the other people, to feel better with themselves. It's always like this.
Rita responded to her childhood challenge of living in a foreign culture by indulging in her love of singing, a love that she already had when her family moved to Israel.
I really decided to sing when I was 4 years old.
So even when you were in Iran.
You know, it was like something that, you know, I was in a party, engagement party of my uncle Anayat. He lives in Los Angeles now, and they put me on a chair and they gave me a microphone, and there was 1 or 2 violinists, and they asked me to sing a song that probably I sang it at home. And when I started to sing, I felt that I'm home. I'm going back home to some place that I've been there. I was there. It was so sure. It's like a laser, you know, like it was so right. I felt like I'm 1,000 years old person because I remember it still now so vividly. And when we went back home, on our way back home, I told my parents that I'm going to be a singer. I think they didn't take me seriously because I was 4 years old. But since then, I was really very serious. I did everything to make it true, to make it come true.
What were those things? What did you actually do in order to have the resources to become a singer in Israel?
First of all, I understood something in me that it heals me when I'm singing. Well, I didn't grow up in a very comfortable house or home. My father was sick most of his life. We were not in a very good financial situation. My parents fought all the time with each other, and every second was like, or he's dying or they're getting divorced. It was really like a roller coaster in our lives as children. But this was something that when I sat with myself and I started singing, I understood that this is something that saving me from the real life, that it has like butterflies who take me up to a very, very sacred place. And I started even, when I was 10 years old, I started working in every possible job that was legal, I babysat, I cleaned, I did, I don't know, everything I could till I was 20 years old, 24, and I started being a singer. I really worked hard to take lessons, voice lessons, classic voice lessons, dancing lessons, acting school 3 years after the army. So I really...
And you served in the Israeli army like all other young men and women who
Yes.
are finished their high school.
Of course,
And
of course.
what was that experience like?
I sang in in a group, in the Israeli singing group
For the Israeli military.
for the Israeli military. Yes.
You've been a professional singer now for about 30 years, for 3 decades.
But don't tell it to anyone.
I won't.
okay?
So that
It was since I
that
was
just
5
stays
years
here.
old. So
What were some of the highlights of these last 30 years, would you say?
I think the first highlight was when I was invited to sing the national anthem on the 50th anniversary of Israel. Yeah. To sing the national anthem there in Jerusalem in front of all the
That would have been 1998.
different leaders from all over the world, and it was really something for me very big. I think the second thing was when I was invited to sing in the UN's main assembly hall. They told me that this is the first whole show in the UN's main assembly hall.
Rita got that invitation thanks to an album that she released in 2012, an album that was a departure from her previous records, which were almost all in Hebrew with a bit of Persian. With this album, she fully embraced her mother tongue.
5 years ago, something caught me. I didn't even think about it. It wasn't from here. It was really from a very deep place that I started to feel a burning desire to record my the soundtrack of my family life, to celebrate, because till then I always thought that if I'm going to do an Persian album, it will be the amazing ballads of the Iranian songs. But it was not them. It was all the celebrations that my mother used to sing for us, and we used to sing in our celebrations in our home.
Rita's first Farsi-language album, 2012's All My Joys, not only offered her Israeli fans a bigger taste of her Persian heritage, it also gave her a new mission, one she hadn't really anticipated, serving as a bridge between the Israeli and Iranian people. How does she do it? Rita is going to tell us.
Okay, I will have to be honest and be correct, because I didn't plan all of what happened afterwards. It was really from somewhere that I just only wanted to record the songs. I didn't care if it will be successful or not, if the record will be hit in Israel or not. It was everything, you know the clip of Michael Jackson, that he walks on the Billie Jean, and he walks and it lights, and then he puts his leg on the other step,
Another
and
one lights up.
This is the only thing that happened to me. I just recorded the songs. I started to release the songs, and I started to get amazing reaction from the Israeli audience. But suddenly I started to get reactions from the Iranian people from Iran, and it what caught me by surprise. And I said, "Oh my God, there is the internet that," and I started to get rain of emails, amazing, really, I can't show them because I don't want to show their names or something.
But what did they
I don't
tell
want
you?
to. There was someone really who wrote me that he loves my songs and my singing, and he so much want to come to one of my concerts that he will be willing to risk even 3 years of jail and 70 lashes. How do you say that? Lashes. And I said, I will leave forever one chair for this person until there will be something will change, and the countries will be open for us to have them, and for them to have the Israeli people. And really, so many amazing. They say that they love Israel, they love us, and they really wait for everything to be okay.
The UN...
That you can make peace not between stars and sun and the moon, but between the people. And I started to understand something very important, that this is a purpose. This is something that I can use. I can use my being both Iranian and Israeli, and my music, and being a woman. I can use them to connect between those two countries, those two people, to be a bridge between them.
The United Nations also saw that potential in Rita, so it gave her the unprecedented opportunity to perform a full set of her music for the UN General Assembly in 2013.
This is maybe the highlight of my life, because I was able to connect. 1 week before the performance, my father passed away. So his legacy, my mother's voice, my being both Iranian and Israeli, a woman, as a mother, as all of these things became together, and I felt like not like I'm singing there or performing. I felt that I'm shouting out my prayer for a better world, because I know we can do that. I know, I really believe so. So this was, everything was, suddenly I understood, like everything was connected, like and it was like,
so it made sense.
Yeah.
Rita's prayer for a better world faces some obstacles. Israel and Iran have endured decades of hostility since the 1979 Islamic Revolution that led Tehran to break off relations. Iranian leaders frequently call for the destruction of the Jewish state, while Israel refuses to rule out military action to stop Iran from developing nuclear weapons, something Tehran denies pursuing. How optimistic is Rita that the two nations can be friends again?
Usually politicians, they do their job, and artists, they dream and they are optimistic. You saw so many times that if there won't be dreaming people, the world will be a very sad place to live with. The Wright brothers, do you remember their story? That they believed that 100 years ago or something, that people can fly from place to place, and it was not reasonable thing. And now we have airplanes that flying from countries, from place to place. Sometimes, you have to dream, and there were a lot of dreams that came true. I really believe that a that something will happen, and I'm sure that I will be there for a concert.
So you really think that someday you will perform in Iran?
Yes, I'm sure about that. I have to dream. I have to believe, I have to dream. And you know, there is an Arabic say that you say, throw your heart and go and fetch it. So I'm throwing my heart. Not because, you know, I perform a lot. It's not because I need a performance, but because of the purpose of that to understand that some animosity has been stopped in our world. We have to do that.
Rita says she also hopes to record another Persian album for her Israeli as well as Iranian fans, some of whom she actually gets to see once in a while.
When I go outside of Israel and I meet Iranian people, I was in one of the greatest singers of Iranian, Moin. And we went, my mother and my sisters, we went to Armenia, and all of the Iranian people came to Armenia
Which
to
is not
see
far
him.
from Iran.
Yeah, on the border of Iran.
The border, right.
Border, sorry for my English. And I met so many Iranian people, and we were kissing and hugging and with my mother and my sisters.
And they knew about you already.
And some of them, not all of
Not
them,
all of
yes,
them.
of course, but some of them, they knew me, and it was really something so special. And it shows that, you know, everything is possible.
نقاشة